August 20th, 1966. A boy climbs a remote hill on the outskirts of Niterói, Brazil. He's there to fly a kite. What he finds instead would spark one of the strangest unsolved cases in Brazilian history. 2 men, dead, no wounds, no signs of struggle, each one wearing a mask, not of cloth or plastic, but cut from lead, shaped like something meant to block out light, or perhaps something else. There's a note, a bottle, wet towels, a clock that no longer ticks, and a cryptic message that seems more like a ritual than a plan. The only thing more unsettling than what was found is what was missing. On the morning of August 21st, police arrived on Morro do Vintém. The boy who found the bodies had returned with adults who alerted authorities. Lying on the slope, in perfect parallel, were 2 men. They were dressed identically, suits, raincoats, and over their eyes, thin hand-cut lead masks, shaped to fit like thick sunglasses, the kind used by welders or eclipse watchers. But these were homemade. There were no weapons, no wounds, no signs of trauma, just a list of instructions written in pencil and translated later by investigators. 1630, be at the specified location. 1830, ingest capsules. After the effect, protect metals. Await signal. Mask. No one could explain the message. No one could find the capsules. The signal, whatever it was, never came. There were no answers, only evidence, and even that would begin to disappear. Manoel Pereira de Cruz and Miguel José Viana were ordinary men, technicians, tinkerers. They worked together repairing televisions in the coastal city of Campos dos Goitacazes, a city of dust, solder smoke, and transistor radios, the kind of place where people worked with their hands and kept their dreams to themselves. They were quiet, serious men, neither rich, neither reckless, but those who knew them said something shifted in the months before they died. They had become fixated on spiritism, a uniquely Brazilian blend of science, mysticism, and the belief that human consciousness could reach beyond the physical world. They spoke of experiments, contact, energy fields, protective masks, light too intense for the human eye. At Miguel's home, police would later find lead scraps and a book detailing how to shield the mind during psychic rituals. The masks were homemade, their purpose unclear. On August 17th, they left home, told family they'd be back that night, said they were going to buy parts. They never used their return tickets. Instead, they climbed a hill and never came down. 1630. Be at the specified location. 1830. Ingest capsules. After the effect, protect metals. Await signal. Mask. It read like a checklist. Coordinated. Deliberate. But protect metals. Await signal. It wasn't a suicide note. It wasn't a goodbye. It was a protocol. They arrived at the hill in the late afternoon. No one saw them go up. No one saw them come down. From the time they disappeared to the time they were found, nearly 3 days passed. No one ever recovered the capsules. There were no pill bottles, no containers, no residue. The masks were in place. Their eyes were covered, and they were waiting for something. To understand why 2 men might climb a hill in search of a signal, you have to understand what they believed. Spiritism wasn't a fringe cult in Brazil. In the 1960s, it was a mainstream movement, a doctrine that claimed the soul could transcend physical form through ritual, energy, and willpower. In Campos dos Goitacazes, Miguel and Manoel attended sessions at a small spiritist center known as Centro Espírita Bom Jesus. Their conversations became more intense. They spoke of experiments, of ascension, of shielding the body from non-physical light. When investigators searched Miguel's house, they found what looked like a workbench, sliced lead tubing, tools, handwritten notes referring to psychic emissions and intense luminous exposure, and a book detailing how to protect the pineal gland during spiritual awakening. The masks were real, handmade, their design crude but intentional. This wasn't cosplay, it was preparation. 2 nights before the bodies were found, something strange was seen above the hill. Gracinda Barbosa, Coutinho de Souza, and her children described a large oval object. It hovered just above the tree line. It emitted lights, orange, red, and blue. And then, just as suddenly, it vanished. In Spiritist doctrine, light isn't just symbolic, it's literal, a manifestation of ascension, contact, revelation. On June 13th, over 70 miles away, witnesses at Atafona Beach reported a luminous object rising from the sea. Moments later, a thunderous blast shook the coastline. Military intelligence took quiet interest. The Brazilian Navy and Air Force began tracking unusual radio signals. Frequencies never assigned. Call signs never registered. The source, still unknown. Was it coincidence? Or were Miguel and Manoel exactly where they needed to be, at exactly the right time? When the bodies were brought down from Morro do Vintém, investigators acted quickly. For at least 3 days, the corpses remained unrefrigerated. By the time a formal autopsy began, decomposition had already advanced beyond recovery. The stomach contents were destroyed, the liver and brain, too decayed to test. No blood samples could be taken, and no trace of the capsules mentioned in the note was ever found. A year later, in August 1967, a second autopsy confirmed the same. Cardiac arrest, no trauma, no poisons, no physical cause, just 2 bodies, too far gone. The masks, once cataloged as evidence, disappeared. So did key documents. Witness statements vanished from the file. The capsule container was never located. Officially, there was no foul play, no drugs, no suspects, just 2 men, and a question no autopsy could answer. What happened on Morro do Vintém? Decades later, no one agrees, but 4 theories have come to define the mystery. Miguel and Manoel believed in contact. Spiritist literature found in their homes detailed methods for astral projection, light encounters, and protection from emissions. Some believe the masks were part of a ritual, an attempt to trigger transcendence or survive it. Then came the light. Gracinda Barbosa's sighting. The flashes above the hill. Could they have been preparing for an encounter? A signal they believed would come, not metaphorically, but literally. From the sky? Others point to a simpler answer, that the men ingested a psychoactive substance, LSD or barbiturates, expecting transformation. But instead of awakening, they never woke up. No toxins were ever found, but none were ever tested for. And then there's the evidence, or rather, what's missing. The masks vanished. The capsule container was never found. Key testimony went unrecorded, and the investigation was quietly closed, without resolution. Was this a well-orchestrated cover-up to protect somebody higher up? 4 theories. No conclusions. Only fragments. Only questions. The case was closed in 1969. No suspects. No cause of death. No further questions asked. Over time, the evidence disappeared. The masks were misplaced. The capsule never recovered. And whatever they hoped to find on that hill died with them. The lead masks case became a legend, a parable for belief taken too far, or perhaps not far enough. Some say they were seekers. Others say they were victims of faith, of delusion, of mystery itself. But no matter what you believe, 2 men climbed a hill looking for something. And whatever it was, they never came back.